Ladies and gentlemen, what you're about to see is the moment Big Pharma has been dreading for decades. Inside the White House today, something happened that the pharmaceutical industry never thought possible. They said it couldn't be done. The lobbyists said it would never happen. But with one stroke of his pen, President Trump just changed everything about how prescription drugs are priced in America. The implications are staggering. What we've uncovered about why other presidents never dared to take this step will shock you. And wait till you hear what Dr. McCullough revealed about the true cost of your medication. So don't go anywhere. Now, here's the hard truth. Every 6 years, your dollar loses half of its buying power. That means a $100,000 savings account today could feel like $50,000 by 2031. And you see it every time you fill up your tank, buy groceries, or pay the bills. Prices are up, your dollar is down. But there's a simple way to protect the value of your savings with something real, something proven. Gold, an asset that holds its value over time. That's why I trust Noble Gold Investments. They make it simple to protect your savings with physical gold or silver. No high-pressure sales, no call centers, just honest guidance, one-on-one support, and transparent pricing. And right now, when you open a qualified account, Noble Gold will send you a free 10-ounce silver American flag bar as a thank you. So head over to nextnewsgold.com. You'll find a link below this video window to learn more, or you can call that number you see on the screen, 877-646-5347. And when you call and you talk to Colin, tell him I said hello, would you? I appreciate that. Okay, let's jump right into it. Lots going on in the swamp today. And here's a live shot of Washington, D.C. There's the White House. Of course, President Trump already en route to the Middle East. But we have the news that you won't hear anywhere else. Let's jump right into what Caroline Leavitt said. She posted this to her X account about the executive order, and then we're going to get to Tom's exclusive report from outside the White House. But let's check in with the press secretary first.
Deal. I'm just going off. So this pharmaceutical deal, I'm just going off the Truth Social post. It says, it's a long one, but he says, I'm pleased to announce that today, the White House at 9 o'clock will be signing one of the most consequential executive orders ever. They will be reducing pharmaceuticals by about 80%. Essentially, we are going to pay less than the country that's paying the least for pharmaceuticals from here on in. How does that work?
First of all, it cannot be overstated how big of a deal this executive order that President Trump will be signing in a couple of hours is for American families, and especially our seniors who have been ripped off by very large and rich pharmaceutical companies. The United States of America is less than 5% of the world's population, yet we purchase 75% of Big Pharma's profits. We pay an astronomical amount in comparison to other countries around the world. So the president is signing an executive order today that is going to implement most favored nations drug pricing and is going to reduce the cost of drugs in this country by more than half at least. America is going to pay a better rate and a fairer rate to the rest of the world. That's what the American people deserve. This is huge news. And also, I will add, we know that healthcare costs and drug prices were the #1 driver of Biden inflation. So not only are we bringing those down, but we are ending Biden inflation once and for all.
So this
Biden inflation is over. Let's jump in, check in with Tom at the White House.
I think that's.
Hey guys, this is Thomas McCullough reporting live from the White House with the Next News Network. We're one of the last bastions of truth in the sea of fake news here in Washington, D.C. And while the mainstream media spins lies and pushes their globalist agenda, we are here at the White House delivering unfiltered facts and truth for us patriots. And I'm going to be here all week covering for Gary Franchi, who is at home recording videos for you guys. So today was a big day. President Donald Trump signed a game-changing executive order putting America first, slashing drug prices and sticking it to Big Pharma and foreign freeloaders. Buckle up, guys, because this is huge. So President Trump is doing exactly what he's always done, keeping his promises. Today, May 12, 2025, he signed an executive order to lower prescription drug prices for Americans and our taxpayers. This isn't just talk, it was Trump action, and Trump knows exactly who he's up against in this fight. Earlier today, he called out the powerful forces trying to stop him from helping you.
I am doing this for the American people. I'm doing this against the most powerful lobby in the world, probably the drug lobby, drug and pharmaceutical lobby. But it's one of the most important orders I think that's ever been signed, certainly with regard to health care or health. in the history of our country, and it's an honor to be a part of it.
So guys, that's our president taking on the biggest lobby in the world for you, the American people. This executive order forces drug companies to give Americans the same low prices they give to other wealthy countries. And that means no more getting ripped off. It directs the U.S. Trade Representative and Secretary of Commerce to crack down on foreign countries that unfairly drive up our drug prices. And if Big Pharma doesn't play ball, the Secretary of Health and Human Services will slap them with the most favored nation pricing and takes aggressive steps to cut costs. Trump laid out exactly what pricing policy means for you. Let's go ahead and check this clip out, guys.
But it's called most favored nation. We are going to pay the lowest price there is in the world. We will get whoever is paying the lowest price. That's the price that we're going to get. So remember that. So we're no longer paying 10 times more than another country. Whoever is paying the lowest price, we will look at that price and we will say that's the price we're going to pay. Most favored nations, that's what it is. One breast cancer drug costs Americans over $16,000 per bottle, but the same drug from the same factory, manufactured by the same company, is 1/6 that price in Australia and 1/10 that price in Sweden. 1/10 for the identical product. A common asthma drug costs almost $500 here in America, but costs less than $40 in the United Kingdom. So $40 in the United Kingdom, which is where this gentleman told me he paid a small amount for his shot. But think of that. So $40 versus $500 here.
So that's right. Trump's making sure we pay the lowest prices in the world, not 10 times more than other countries, which we have been for decades. So here's the deal. Americans pay over 3 times more for brand name drugs in other developed nations. And that's not fair. It's an absolute disgrace. The U.S. funds 75% of global drug profits, while we're less than 5% of the world's population. Drug companies give discounts to foreign markets and then jack up prices here to cover it. Essentially, you're subsidizing socialism abroad. Shocker. Let the Democrats do it. And all that while paying sky-high prices at home. And Trump's saying no more. He's making sure the American patients and taxpayers get the best deal, period. So this isn't new for Trump. In his first term, he fought to stop Medicare and seniors from overpaying for drugs compared to what other countries. But what did Sleepy Joe do? The Biden administration scrapped Trump's plan before it could even start. Worse, Biden's big achievement was negotiating drug prices that were 78% higher than 11 countries in 11 comparable countries. And that's not beating Medicare, that's beating Americans into the ground. Biden let Big Pharma run wild while Americans emptied their wallet for life-saving drugs. But Trump's back, and he's got strong allies in this fight. Secretary Kennedy praised Trump's courage today, explaining why this president is different from the typical Washington sellouts. Check out this clip, guys.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is an extraordinary day. This is an issue that, I grew up in the Democratic Party, and every major Democratic leader for 20 years has been making this promise to the American people. This was the fulcrum of Bernie Sanders' runs for presidency, that he was going to eliminate this discrepancy between Europe and the United States. But as it turns out, none of them were doing it. It's one of these promises that politicians make to their constituents, knowing that they'll never have to do it. And the reason they'll never have to do it is because they know that Congress is controlled in so many ways by the pharmaceutical industry. There's at least one pharmaceutical lobbyist for every congressman, every senator in Capitol Hill, and every member of the Supreme Court. By some estimates, 3. Pharmaceutical companies, the industry itself, spends 3 times what the next largest lobbyist spends on lobbying. So this was an issue that people talked about, but nobody wanted to do anything because it was radioactive. They knew you couldn't get it by Congress. We now have a president who is a man of his word, who has the courage. President Trump was taking money from the pharmaceutical industry too. I think they gave you $100 million. Yeah. But he can't be bought, unlike most of the politicians in this country. And he is standing here for the American people. I don't know what, there's writers like Lord Elizabeth Warren or Robert Reich who are saying that President Trump is on this side of the oligarchs. There has never been a president more willing to stand up to the oligarchs than President Donald Trump. And I'm very, very proud of you, Mr. President, for your courage, I'll say, because I don't want to be crude, your intestinal fortitude, your stiff spine, and your willingness to stand up for the American people. We have 4.2% of the world's population. Our country represents 75% of the revenues for pharmaceutical companies. We spend in our country $1,126 per capita on drugs. In Britain, they spend about $240. They spend 1/5 of what we do. And this is true across Europe. And the drug companies, Europeans, if you ask them, it made no sense what they were saying. America has to pay for this innovation or it's not going to happen. What President Trump is saying to our European partners is you got to raise the amount that you're paying for those drugs and pay for your share of the innovation. That the United States is no longer subsidizing that. If the Europeans raise the price of their drugs by just 20%, that is $10 trillion that can be spent on innovation, and the health of all people all across the globe is going to increase because we're going to have better products. So I'm just so grateful to be here today. I never thought that this would happen in my lifetime. I have a couple of kids who are Democrats, are big Bernie Sanders fans. And when I told them that this was going to happen, they had tears in their eyes because they thought this is never going to happen in our lifetime. And we finally have a president who's willing to stand up for the American people.
And you heard it. Trump cannot be bought. That's why he's the leader we need. And Dr. Oz from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services called this executive order historic. He didn't hold back on why this moment is so big for Americans. Let's go ahead and check this clip out.
This is the most powerful executive order on pharmacy pricing and healthcare ever in the history of our nation. And it's only happening because we have a president with the fortitude, the guts to stand up to the withering criticism and lobbying that's going to occur as soon as folks hear about the executive order. So on behalf of the child in Philadelphia who's got an autoimmune disease with a $1,000 a month drug, or the older woman in Los Angeles who's on a blood thinner who can't afford her copay, I want to thank President Trump. God bless you for having the guts to take on this industry. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
So let's talk about the details a little bit. And this is primarily about equalization, as President Trump said. It's about fairness. Think of NATO as a metaphor. When President Trump said, you've got to pay a little more so it makes sense for all of us, they came up. And the European countries contributed. The same thing we believe will happen in this situation. Most people who have thought about this process agree that it is patently unfair to tolerate the numbers that Secretary Kennedy and President Trump have reflected to you. On this chart to my left is a list of the 10 drugs that were negotiated in the IRA. Again, this is the bill, the law, that regulates a negotiation process. This is the best price that was able to be obtained by the Biden administration. And if you look at these numbers, they actually reflect how much on top of the most favored nation price was being paid by the United States. So the closest to me, Bob, you can point to the chart against the closest one, 289%, the one that's closest to you. That means that we are paying in America 4 times more than that drug costs in other countries. Again, 100% is the baseline. It's 289% above that baseline. It goes all the way down to when we're paying 50% more than any other country. That's the range. As was pointed out by President Trump, half the time we're paying 3 times more than is paid in other countries. It doesn't make any sense for the system. That stated, President Trump has over and over again indicated, and Secretary Kennedy reflected as well, we want innovation. We want our technology partners doing the best they can to make the best solutions for drugs to cure as many people in America and around the world as possible. By getting our allies to pay a bit more as they should be, and they should have for many years been doing, will course correct a problem that's gotten out of hand. And by doing that in a thoughtful, effective way, we're going to be able to get the pharmaceutical industry whole. Those jobs will still be here, will still be productive, will still be curing cancer and a slew of other ailments that plague humanity. America will still be the leader in this space, but we'll be paying the appropriate amount, the right-sized amount for those tasks. So over the next 30 days, the four of us up here, together with people standing in the back of this room, we're doing a lot of the heavy lifting, are going to be approaching pharmaceutical companies to talk specifically about what we want the most favored nation price to be based on the best data we have. We're looking forward to a thoughtful interaction with these corporate leaders, many of whom we've spoken to and in quiet will agree the system is not right the way it is. They're patriotic Americans. They want what's right. But the fact that in my lifetime, as Secretary Kennedy said, for the first time, we have a thoughtful and aggressive approach, thanks to President Trump, on taking on the special interests, should give all Americans confidence that this is an administration that stands for fairness and should chill the waters for those who believe they can push us away from our North Star, which is to take care of the American people. Mr. President, God bless you.
Guys, that's what real leadership looks like. Trump's relentless. This new order builds on his first-term wins, now including Medicaid, along with Medicare to tackle price disparities. He's also pushing radical price transparency, something he started in his first term, but the Biden administration dismantled. And this is what you're paying for. Just last week, Trump signed another executive order giving massive discounts to low-income patients. Another great thing, boosting generic drugs and making it easier to import cheaper medicines. This man does not stop. He's fighting for you, the forgotten American, against a system rigged by globalists and corporate elites. So let's talk about why this matters. Trump himself said it best. Our citizens pay massively higher prices than other nations for the same exact pill. From the same factory, effectively subsidizing socialism abroad with skyrocketing prices at home. He's right. We're spending billions to give cheap drugs to other countries. While you're choosing between medicine and groceries, that ends now. Trump's executive order is a middle finger to Big Pharma and to foreign freeloaders who've been riding America's back for too long. So speaking of fighting back, right before Trump jetted off for the Middle East today, he had some heated exchanges with the fake news media right here in the Oval Office, about 200 feet to my left. These so-called journalists from the legacy networks try to trip him up with their gotcha questions, but Trump, he wasn't having it. One reporter from ABC tried to spin a ridiculous story about Trump's new jet, and guess what Trump did? He shut it down fast. Let's go ahead and check this out, guys.
Mr. President, what do you say to people who view that luxury jet as a personal gift to you? Why not leave it behind?
You're ABC fake news, right?
Why not?
It's only ABC. Well, a few of you would. Let me tell you, you should be embarrassed asking that question. They're giving us a free jet. I could say, no, don't give us. I want to pay you $1 billion or $400 million or whatever it is. Or I could say, thank you very much. You know, there was an old golfer named Sam Snead. Did you ever hear of him? He won 82 tournaments. He was a great golfer. And he had a motto, when they give you a putt, you say, thank you very much. You pick up your ball and you walk to the next hole. A lot of people are stupid. They say, no, I insist on putting it. And then they putt it and they miss it. And their partner gets angry at them. You know what? Remember that, Sam Snead. When they give you a putt, you pick it up and you walk to the next hole and you say, thank you very much.
Respectfully, sir, as a businessman, some people may look at this and say, have you ever been given a gift worth millions of dollars and then not received anything?
It's not a gift to me, it's a gift to the Department of Defense. And you should know better, because you've been embarrassed enough, and so has your network. Your network is a disaster. ABC is a disaster.
That is how you handle the fake news. Trump called them out for their lies, their bias, and let me tell you, it was glorious. We love Trump. The fake news squirmed as Trump laid bare their agenda, and that's why they all hate him. They hate Trump because he has no problem telling them exactly where to shove it, and they can't handle that. So we were here covering, getting ready to cover his departure, reporting the real story while the mainstream media scrambled to spin their nonsense, and they'll do anything to distract from the incredible work Trump is doing, like the executive order that's been finally putting American patients first. So let's not forget the bigger picture here. Trump is delivering on his promises to stop Big Pharma from overcharging hard-working Americans. He's building on his first-term wins, like making drug prices transparent and getting seniors better deals. Now with this new order, he's expanding that fight to include Medicaid, cracking down on foreign countries that freeload off our innovation, and making sure drug companies can't keep playing these dirty games. And this is about fairness, it's about putting America first, and about making sure you can afford the medicine you need without breaking the bank. The globalists and their media lapdogs want to keep you in the dark, but Trump's shining a light on their scams and fighting for you guys. He does this every day, and this is exactly what I voted for. Guys, my name's Tom McCullough, reporting from the White House. God bless all of you. Hey guys, this is Thomas McCullough reporting live from...
That was Tom at the White House. Thank you for filing that report for us, Tom. Let's take another look at some of the moments from that exchange in the Roosevelt Room. Here's where he signed the order. Let's take a listen to what he had to say about Medicaid costs.
Massive, because I think you're going to see a tremendous cut. I don't think. I mean, I know you're going to see it in Medicaid and Medicare. That cut will be massive because drugs are 50–60% of the cost. So Medicaid costs are going down and Medicare costs are going down because of what we're doing today. And there's no, it's not like, oh, gee, well, maybe it won't happen. It's going to happen because the other countries have no choice. Now, the drug companies are going to have to say, listen, if you don't pay more, we're not going to give you the drug, and they're willing to do that. So that's it. They have to, we have to equalize.
How do you respond to the fact that price controls?
Say it?
How do you respond to the fact that this...
It's not price control. No, no. What was price control is before. If you want to talk about price control is what they were doing. They were making us pay. They set a price, and they said, here's what we're going to pay. And anything else, charge America. Because at that time, they had a very stupid president, and it really went crazy during the last 4 years. And remember this, the Democrats are the ones that allowed this to happen. They were the ones that were the protector of this pricing system. And I think it's going to be very hard. You'll have to ask Democrats, are they going to vote against the one great, big, beautiful deal that's being negotiated now, tax cuts, etc. We're now on top of the tax cuts and regulation cuts, all the things. Now you're going to say that the price of your medicine is going down by 60, 70, 80%. You're going to vote against it? I think a lot of Democrats are going to be forced to do something that their leaders are going to beg them not to do, and that's vote for the bill. I don't see how they can vote against it. How can they vote against it when drug prices, drugs and pharmaceuticals are going to be down 70, 80%? It's going to be very interesting.
Mr. President,
I think
it is going to be very interesting and exactly what we all voted for. So the mainstream media won't tell you this, but what President Trump accomplished today with this executive order is nothing short of revolutionary. Americans have been paying up to 15 times more for the exact same medications that other countries get for a fraction of the cost. Think about that. Your hard-earned money being used to subsidize cheaper drugs for the rest of the world. But not anymore. So here's the question that we need to ask ourselves. Why did it take so long for someone to finally stand up to Big Pharma? What other presidents were they so afraid of? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're fired up about American victory, check out our Next News gear at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and show the world where you stand with real news.